Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Highside Hustle here tonight virtually. My name is Bert Wojcik alongside Adam Rubright. Chris Graham is our producer here tonight. And boys, have we recovered from the Chili Bowl yet? What a week. What a week. I don't know what to do with myself.
I think I'm still waiting for the Chili Bowl to start.
Yeah, did we get there yet?
There it is. What are we? We are not even about a minute into the show, and we've already made our first Map TV burn. So well done, boys. Anyway, so so that's go ahead, Adam.
I mean, good Lord, 7 hours. 7 hours. You had 7 hours to run 4 20-lap consolation events and do track prep. Like, that feature should have started no later than 10 o'clock on Map TV. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Be better.
Yeah.
Be better.
That was not good. That was really not good. It made for some fun tweets that night throughout the night last Saturday night. But hey, we saw some great racing here. We did a lot of great stuff here, like last week, last Thursday. Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us on our live stream last week. We were able to raise over $850 thanks to Victory Auto Glass for matching our $425. And then also the Dave Dusek Foundation and Beers for Charity were able to raise over their $5,000 goal. I believe it was just about $5,500, if I'm correct. But
$5,450 was the exact total there.
Right there, and they wanted $5,000. So.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So let's go for $10,000 next year. Let's help them out a little more. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how about this one? That 850 went a long way to those guys making their goal, and plus we got to know Dave Dusek, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And then we get to go hang out with them at PRI next year. So let's roll, boys.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I've never gone to PRI, so I think that'll be pretty interesting.
Absolutely. I think it'll be fun, too. But, all right, so let's get on to covering the Chili Bowl here. First of all, don't forget to give us a like here on Facebook at the National Racing Network or subscribe over on YouTube at National Racing Network. Follow us on Twitter with the Highside Hustle at Highside_Hustle. You can follow myself on Twitter at Bert Wojcik, and Adam.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Rubright22 or at Adam Rubright on Facebook.
And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/National Racing Network. Got a lot of cool stuff going on through there. All right, boys, let's start talking about the Chili Bowl. We'll go back to Friday night here. And Friday night might have been the best night of racing, I think, bar none. That was a lot of just dicey, good racing throughout the entire show. And Justin Grant went out there, the brand new lid, smashed the nose can on top of it. He picks up the prelim night win on Friday night, and he's been becoming a very dominant force on Friday night, Adam.
He sure has, and it comes down to, getting a pill draw and running the absolute best you can. I forget exactly where he started in the heat race, but I know he had to work his way up to the front, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely. But, that's the thing about this whole passing points format is that it pays to start in the back of your heat and work your way through. And that was one of the big things that helped get Justin not only into a good spot at the heat, but also getting that qualifier, which I believe started him 6th, and that was enough to get up there on the front row. But, again, that was a lot of great racing. The track I thought was absolutely perfect. Gravel had it just right. Coming in there onto Friday night there with Justin Grant picking up the win over Kyle Cummins. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. put on a nice charge there towards the end there.
He sure did. He came out of the B, if I believe so. It's Thorson
I believe you're correct.
and Stenhouse. And Stenhouse made his way through the field on Friday in a hot second.
That was
I think I'm going to say he
definitely
started like 20th.
Mm-hmm. I
Something like
believe
that.
you're right here looking at the notes. I believe he started 20th back there. But no, just a great show there. But one guy that wasn't really a factor, and a lot of people thought he was going to be, was Aaron Reitzel. Where was he at on Friday night? Not really seemed comfortable in that CB Industries number 87.
I think he struggled. He struggled pretty much all week, if my mind stands correct. And I think he barely made it out of the C main Saturday.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know the CB Industry cars, with the exception of Wyndham and Bell there before he got upside down in the later stages of the race. I think that team struggled pretty much all week.
Yeah, Bell and Wyndham were kind of the bright spots in that, but it was kind of weird to see them how bad that they were. They struggled. They just did not get the right chemistry. I mean, you had some other teams really kind of be better, like that RMS team with Timez. That was a nice run that they had there too, along with I believe that's the team Grant was on, and then you had Clint Boyles on there who had a really nice car out there. But yeah, they were not one of the better teams out there. But I want to go back to this here before we move on to Saturday night here. Let's go back to Friday night for a second here. Bill Balog's burn on Aaron Reitzel on how he would have wrecked him if he would have got around him.
Yeah, I think that comes with the territory and the reputation that Aaron kind of has built himself over the last couple of years. Not necessarily in the 410 side of things, but he kind of overdrives himself in that midget from time to time.
Well, he definitely does. But you know what? It is what it's not his bread and butter. It's not like the 410 where he's always, up towards the front the entire time. So, I mean, it's kind of it's a new ground for him.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I mean, with the exception of the beginning days of Brad Sweet's career, he hasn't really run a midget all too often that much as of late, and he looked pretty dang good all week.
Sweet looked really good all week. He looked very, very good. So as we move on now to the Saturday night portion, and all right, so let's start out with first here. The flow coverage was phenomenal throughout the entire night or day, even. Like, they were great, but it really started to pick up when our guest tonight, Jason McDougall, started in an I main, and it did not look back from there.
No, I mean, we were all calling for the soup and somebody to do it, and we were all wondering who the heck it was going to be that made a charge like that through it, and turns out it was the Dukes, none other than.
Yeah, that was incredible. And then just to get heartbroken like that with that spin out there in the D main, and what I don't know how you want to call it, because I mean it was so controversial at the time there, because you want to see McDougall get in there, but yet you got to go in there, you got to force everything you can there, and if the spot's there, you got to try and look around for it. And unfortunately, Golombek went a little bit too hard on Colton Coyle went a little bit too hard on McDougall, and that was kind of where it all started at then, and then Twitter just went nuts. Yeah,
absolutely. In a very short time, he became the most hated man in the Expo Center, but not hate as in like genuinely hating someone, just disgruntled fans
Bernal.
being, Bernal. Yeah, just disgruntled fans being disgruntled fans, and it went from Sammy Swindell being the most hated man in the Expo Center to Bernal.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Bernal did the right thing right after it went up, and we thought, everyone was calling for there's going to be a fight in the pits, this and that, and he went right up and he talked to him, and I believe they said on the Flow broadcast there on how grown up that was for Bernal to go up to McDougall right afterwards, and I thought that was fantastic too. But also, it's going to still hurt right away, but the sting's going to go away by Sunday, and I'm sure they've had a long, good conversation over the last couple of days on what happened, and they're going to move on from it.
Oh, absolutely! I'm sure they had their talks at the Expo Center, and then Sunday, I'm sure they were probably either texting, or I'm sure one of them called each other just to reiterate you know.
Absolutely.
But
All right, so
then
let's
again,
get into
when
the
you're,
MAV. What's that?
I mean, then again, when you're trying to get yourself into the show, you're racing hard for the spot, and it sucks because the both of them went from in or almost in to the both of them were out because Bernal got disqualified, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So, I mean that has to suck, but you know, the dude's got some. He has some talent, you know. I mean,
he made his bed with that one there, but I mean, he owned up to it. All the respect in the world for Ryan Bernal. As now, we'll move on to the Saturday night portion when MAV TV took over, and oh boy, all right. So,
like I said, 7 hours.
Yeah, that was the longest race I think I've ever been a part of. It just felt so long, and there was no need for it because the track. I don't know why they felt the need to redo the entire track for an hour and 45 minutes. There was no need to because that track was really good at the beat, and they did not do that for any other surface the entire week long. Maybe Tuesday night they probably could have got away with it if they really wanted to, but obviously the night ran long. But there was no reason to rip up that track and juice it up the way they did. That track only started really coming in with about 15 laps to go, and I feel like that could have been a much better race if they would have just let the track alone, maybe water the top, maybe grade down the berm a little bit. You want to take a half hour to do that, go right ahead. But there was no need for an hour and a half delay to juice that thing up.
No, that race should have started no later than 10 o'clock. And let's just put it this way. If there was any new fans tuning into the MAV TV broadcast, like say you or myself had somebody over at our house to watch the Chili Bowl and they're not a fan of motor racing, 9-1 odds that new fan isn't going to stay awake until 1-2 o'clock in the morning like we would. You know, they probably crashed out on the couch at 11:45 and said the hell with it.
You guys mind if I jump in on this one here?
Absolutely. I was going to turn it over to you, Chris. What's your thoughts on what happened here on Saturday night?
Well, from a broadcast perspective, I don't necessarily envy MAV TV because you never know how long trap prep is going to take. But at the same time, they had 5 full days to put together pre-canned packages that you could have filled in that time with, not just live interviews, but actual content throughout the week. In the course of that multi-hour mess of track prep, they didn't mention Jason McDougall once.
No.
Exactly. And he was the biggest hot topic of the day, in my opinion.
That's it. That's the quintessential Chili Bowl is the guy who runs the soup, the girl who runs the soup. And we heard nothing. Mm-hmm. Did you guys know there was a University of Oklahoma cheerleader that was competing?
No.
I did not know that.
How do we not tell these stories? You know?
Yeah.
Everything from Gravy screaming like an idiot that let's go. We don't talk about that stuff because we have Larson and Bell.
No, but we'll ask T-Mez about his girlfriend issues, apparently, which that's appropriate.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, let's talk about the racing now, shall we? Or do you have one more thing you want to say, Adam?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, now that we've been it, what's your thoughts, folks, in the comments down below here? What do you think of Saturday night? Do you think it ran too long? Do you understand why MAV TV did it? Put it down in the comment section below. We'll read some comments a little bit later on throughout the night. But anyway, the A feature, as you said, it was really juiced up there. But as that thing got wider towards the end there, and it got that gnarly curve, which I think they were trying to go for, which was unnecessary in my mind. Larson was starting to stumble a little bit, and Bell was right there, but so was Justin Grant. Justin Grant really needed one of those late race yellows there. And I think if we had a yellow a little bit sooner, if Bell's wreck would have kind of happened back a couple laps sooner, then maybe Grant would have caught at lap traffic and got into Larson there, because Larson was okay through lap traffic, but he wasn't pulling them throughout lap traffic.
Yeah, I agree, but I think maybe after that, the Bell flip there, I think Grant might have showed his nose a little too early. And because you figure, I think that happened on a restart when he tried to get in and like slide underneath him. I think if he wouldn't have done that and maybe waited till he got up a little bit more momentum, I think he probably actually could have got him, because Larson was really stumbling on the top side. I mean, he was getting up over the cushion. He was getting the curb, and the front end was getting all squirrely. And I think if Grant maybe would have, like I said, held off maybe another half a lap or another lap, because I think when that happened, there was still 3-4 laps to go. I think he would have had a better chance at it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Bell, you can't take away Bell's credit there, or knock Bell's ability there, because he tried everything he could. That cushion was so nasty. That was a grimy curb up there, and that was
an Indiana cushion.
Oh, absolutely. That was a big Indiana curb up there. But you know what? Yeah. All in all, as the race got better, the track got better. I think we could have better racing. They never touch it, as we said before. But Kyle Larson picked up his second straight Chili Bowl over Justin Grant, Tanner Thorson, Cannon McIntosh, and Darren Pittman round out the top 5 there. And that was...
how about Darren Pittman? He was the hard charger, wasn't he?
5th to 20th, yeah. 20th to 5th. That was a hell of a run there for Darren Pittman. And Chris, I mean...
And
I'll bring you in on this
one
here.
And he's really struggled.
Sorry, go ahead.
And he's really struggled Chili Bowl wise. Like, not struggled as in he didn't have a good car. He just had no luck the last 2-3 years, like none whatsoever. And so it's really nice and refreshing to see him actually get a good finish out of it.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that everyone needs, a little bit of luck here. And Chris, I want to bring you in on this one here. Kyle Larson, I tell you what, he was so after that driller for how long there, and he finally got it last year, and then it just went on that absolute tear of from in 1 year's time, from Chili Bowl 2020 to Chili Bowl 2021, we are looking at 48 wins in feature events. That is insane for somebody in a 1 year time frame to have that. And what Larson showed this past week, it showed he's not going to slow down at all.
Yeah, it's almost crazy to think about the fact that the guy's going to go from whipping everybody on dirt and just hop right back into a cup car. It's... Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a ton of 410 sprint car guys that are thrilled about the fact that he's driving for Rick Hendrick now.
Yeah.
It's just, we got to witness our generation's wow season. And who would have thought that in 2020, that's the year that it would happen in? All the things that had to align to get Kyle Larson to running and winning 40 plus dirt races in a year. And we got to see how much of it. I mean, that's between Flow, Dirt Vision, everybody that covered that run. It was just an incredible season.
And even local, too. I mean, to see that locally, too, for how many wins he got, the way he came in and just kicked everyone's ass on Speed Week. And then he comes in here, BC Outlaws twice up at Port Royal towards the end. And everyone thought, I think the one thing that really surprised me was that he was not as much of a factor in the Tuscarora 50 as what everyone thought he was going to be. I mean, obviously that's Lance Deweese's race, but he was not as much of a factor in the Tuscarora 50. But still, you look at everything else he did throughout the last year. I mean, you're talking Silver Crown wins. You're talking late model wins, too, which he'll be running late model down All Tech this weekend for the Lucas Oil Series. Midget wins, wingless wins, Indiana Speed Week wins. Every discipline outside of NASCAR, he went and won. I imagine if he drove like a truck and tractor pull or something like that, he took it a limited modified out, he probably would have went out, won the damn thing in one of those things. He's
more than likely.
It's a generational talent here, Adam, and I don't think we'll ever see anything like that in our lifetime again. If we do, it's going to take something special to go up there and knock off the numbers that Larson did last season.
I agree. Absolutely agree. That's like the Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell numbers, like from back in the day. It's just astonishing what he did. I would really love to see him in like a big block modified though. Like I want to see how he would handle that.
Yeah, and I think it'd be fun to see how he would done in a big block modified. I heard rumors that he was offered a ride at Grandview for Speed Week, didn't take it, but I think he should just to say, hey, what the hell, let's go try it out here. So we'll cover some more a little bit here in a little bit. Right now, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, the promoter of the Fonda Speedway and also the Short Track Super Series, Brett Deyo, will join us. Stay tuned.
heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Highside Hustle. Bert, Wojcik, Adam, Rubright here with you. Join us on the line here tonight. He is the promoter of the Fonda Speedway up in Fonda, New York, and also the Short Track Super Series Big Block Modified Tour, Mr. Brett Deyo. Brett, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us on the Highside Hustle tonight, bud.
Brett, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
There we go.
Hey, Brad, how are you?
Can you hear us now, buddy? Maybe. All right, hold on one second here. We're trying to get a hold of Brett. No, he's there. We can hear him. See what's going on here. But, Adam, I mean, you can't talk about a better series right now than what the Short Track Super Series has done. I mean,
You guys have Brett.
so much.
You got him. Go.
We got him, Brett. All right, Brett. Let's jump right into it, bud. How you doing tonight? I heard you're down there at Georgetown doing a little last minute practice before you head on down to Florida. Let's see here, Chris. I'm not sure if you can still hear us or not. We're trying to work through this here.
Yeah, I just popped it up on the message board to Chris.
All right, yeah, we're trying to work through this here, folks. So, Brett, can you hear us?
I can hear Brett. You guys can't
I
hear him?
can't hear him at all. No.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
I can't hear them.
Hey, can you hear
Oh.
us? Can you hear us now? I heard him.
Brett, can you hear them now?
No.
Okay. Hang on one second here. Working through technical issues. It's so much fun trying
I cannot,
to
no.
technology.
Oh. Okay.
So give us 1 second here,
Yeah,
folks.
we
We'll work
just
right through it here.
had this working here. All right, let's do this. I'm going to call Brett right back here. Yeah, I'll call Brett right back. You guys continue on your discussion that you were just on.
Okay.
Okay, absolutely. So let's try that then. So anyway, Adam, I mean, what we're looking at here is the Short Track Super Series, how they really tried to make things work last year with the pandemic and New York not being able to run. So really, they didn't really have a North region last year, and now the South region just became everything. But in May and June, when everything's starting to open back up, you really couldn't. We were still trying to find places to run. So what did Brett do? Not only that, did he go down south to down to the Carolinas and then also Potomac, Maryland. That was fantastic.
That Potomac show was excellent. I really enjoyed going down to that.
Oh, that place is so badass. As we might have Brett on the line here now. Brett, can you hear us, buddy? And Brett, I don't think Brett can still hear us yet. So still working out. But anyway, yeah, that Potomac show, that surprised the hell out of me on how great that show was, because it was a track that the Modifieds never really had been to before.
Yeah, the hot laps was a little hairy. I mean,
I can hear you.
especially the.
Perfect. Let's get the patch.
Hey, you got us.
There we go.
Oh, hang on. Let me see here. Can you hear us now, Brett?
Okay, there we go. Now you guys should be patched into Brett. Sorry.
All right. Are we good now, Brett? Can you hear us?
Brett, can you hear the guys here?
No, I can't.
All right. I knew I could hear you, but
Yeah, we can hear him. He just can't hear us.
yeah, we can hear him. And I thought I heard me
Hello?
talking to him there. So, hey, can you hear us?
I think we have something goofy going on with Brett's phone connection here, with our connection to Brett, because I can hear him just fine over here. So let me work this out here a second, and we'll get him right back.
All right, we'll work on that here in just a second here. But anyway, we were talking about that Potomac show and how good that was. It was, and then just to see them just make it work with everything going on, it was phenomenal to see how great Brett and his whole crew went be above and beyond to try and get a series going last year.
Yeah, like you said, they went absolutely above and beyond to make sure that everyone got their
No,
racing,
not at all.
and the races that they did put on, they were some excellent shows.
And it's always some great racing. I mean, and then even the endurance races, we'll talk with Brett here when we get him on here, hopefully. Is that how good it was with the 200 up at Port Royal, the Speed Showcase 200? We were not expecting any long distance races last year. And
Okay, guys, I have this one sort of worked out, but I'm going to have to do the interview with Brett here. So we're going to get J-Max scheduled for next week, and I'm going to do the interview with Brett here in just a second.
Okay.
So there we go. So we're on the line here. We finally got things sort of worked out here. Brett Deyo, promoter of the Short Track Super Series, on the line here. You guys are about to kick things off in Florida doing the big Sunshine Swing. Got to feel pretty good to have 2021 on the horizon here and ready to go.
Yeah, it's pretty short off season for us. We ran the Gobbler there at Georgetown on November 21st, and here we are getting ready. A couple days away from rolling out for Florida. We did quite a bit of November racing this year with Louisiana. Went down to Arklatex and Chatham, and then came back with the Gobbler, and so it's been quick, but we're ready to get going.
Yeah, you guys have a packed season here, and one of the interesting things is that a lot of your season you're basically split in half. Your North season is almost entirely in New York, where very little racing went on last year. What is your plan as states start to open up, and what they're going to let you do versus not let you do?
New York was really, really tough, last year, and we did get a few races in with fans. At Fonda, we have found some different creative loopholes to get things done. And, I would say the beginning of the year will still probably be kind of a carryover from last season. But it does appear, that things are going to be more open during the second half. I would say, I feel pretty good about the Fonda 200. I think, our July 4th weekend, last year I said I wasn't going to celebrate my independence by being closed, and we opened up for those 2 days. And, I have the same plan this year. I definitely am not going to be closed for Independence Day. So we'll just kind of wait and see. I think, with Cuomo not trying to sabotage an election, he'll probably open things up a little bit more than last year, what he was trying to do politically. And, fingers crossed. I mean, I know Delaware is looking good. We've had a lot of conversations. Obviously, Florida's wide open. And I think the Lincoln opener will say a lot about Pennsylvania, about what's going to go on there. So, we're just hoping to run as much as we can, for sure.
That's one of the interesting things that you guys have going for is you have a broadcast partner in Dirt Track Digest and DTD.TV that you get just about every show on the air. In fact, I think you do have every show on the air. One of the other interesting ones is your race up at Port Royal is going to be on Flow Racing. So you kind of have the best of both worlds here where you're going to get a lot of exposure and hopefully be able to make up some of that gate revenue and pay-per-view as well.
The pay-per-view definitely helped us. It allowed us to race when, for example, when the Super Dirt Car Series didn't, we had a pretty favorable agreement there with Dirt Track Digest, and we did quite a bit of racing. I mean, Fonda, we ran several events with no fans. We did the North Carolina events down at Ray Cook's track without any fans. And, even Louisiana, the realistic deal of going down there during the week in November, you just knew that it wasn't going to be a grandstand blockbuster. But the television numbers, were 40 to 50% over what those racetracks could hold as far as people. So, you start doing that and it lets you do some different things. And, I know for the Florida tour, there's tremendous interest in people watching from the Northeast, especially with the field of cars we have for the Sunshine Swing. So, it's changed the game. It's definitely changed the whole way we do it. And that's for the better. Yeah.
And especially for places, things like the Cajun Swing, the Sunshine Swing, people see a number of $94.99 or $99.99 or whatever it is for those 5 nights. When you really think about it, that's a whole lot less than what it's going to cost to get you to Florida and to see those races live and in person. So, I mean, you really can't beat that deal, I guess.
No, and you're sitting in your living room, and there's no flights, no tolls. As soon as the modified feature's over, you turn the TV off and you go to bed and go to work the next day. It really is it's an affordable week of entertainment. I mean, we're looking at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with the modifieds and the crate sportsmen. And I'm not a big believer in totally giving away our product. I think our product is entertainment, and when you start doing start getting close to free, what do you really have to sell? I'm a believer in what we do, and I think that the pricing of Dirt Track Digest is fair, for what we're presenting. And I've told everybody, anybody that's complained about the $94.99, my ticket is $169,000, so I'll trade with them at any time.
Is that kind of the argument against putting the racing on Flow, where, yeah, the math works out to 11 cents a race, but in all reality, where's the true exposure when you're competing with, USAC and the All-Stars and everybody else for eyeballs? That your fan base is they want to tune in for modifieds, and that's what they're going to get.
Yeah, it's there's positives and negatives to both. Flow and it's done a really good job of getting exposure for a lot of different people and different venues, and DTD has done a really good job for us. You just have to look at all sides of what works for you at the time, and for right now, DTD's they've done a good job for us. The production is good. They're very good with the pre-race shows and the advertising, and they are the heart of the modified market. For Northeast Modifieds, that's a go-to place for news, and it does work out well, and we've been able to market each other. And I think the series has gained from DTD, and I think they've benefited too from us. It's been a good relationship.
Yeah, so now that you're getting ready to head down to Florida, you've got some big events coming up here in the Northeast as well, but tell everybody who might be watching down in Florida about the Sunshine Swing and where you guys are going to be running and how they can come out and see you guys.
We're going to kick off Tuesday night with open practice at Bubba Raceway Park in Ocala. And then Wednesday night is locals night. So anybody in Florida, anyone with a Florida ID can come into the grandstand free of charge to check out our modifieds and our style of racing. So Wednesday night will be locals night, and then we race Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Bubba Raceway Park. The payouts get bigger as the night goes on. We start out at $4,000 to win Wednesday, and then we end up at $8,000 to win for the modifieds on Saturday. The crate sportsmen are there as well. It's $1,700 to win the first 2 nights, and $2,250 to win the second 2 nights. So it's a great payday for them too. And 7:00 all 4 nights. It'll be like I said, live on Dirt Track Digest. And our practice night, we've got a good sponsor in Precision Hydraulic and Oil, Joe Infante. He's sponsoring a free preview. So you can go to the Dirt Track Digest Facebook page or the Short Track Super Series Facebook page and watch the entire practice for free, thanks to Precision Hydraulic and Oil.
Well, there you go. That sounds like a full fun week of racing here, and we know you're busy, so we'll let you run here. And good luck down in Florida, and we'll be watching on DTD.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brett. Have a good night, bud.
Bye-bye.
All right, and there we go. There's go Brett.
So there you go, fellas. Brett Deyo,
there.
and we should be having some fun here.
I think so. I think it'll be a good series coming up here with the Short Track Super Series down at Bubba Raceway Park coming up next weekend. And, there's a lot of good racing coming up there. And plus, and Fonda has been putting in a lot of great shows as well. And really looking forward to see what Brett's gonna have this year.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait till we get the modified season rolling. I'm a big sucker for the modifieds, even though everyone that knows me thinks that I would rather go to a 410 sprint car race. It's debatable, but working on modifieds
depends on what the show is.
Yeah, but working on modifieds for the last 12, 13 years, I have a soft spot for them. If I can go see a good modified race over a sprint car race, I might take you up on that offer.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's very true. I've skipped a couple 410 shows to go see some modified. Well, Allie, you and I, we did that last year. We went down to Potomac and we skipped Susky, or Baps, I should say. Skipped that to go down to Potomac, and that was a hell of a show. Had a lot of fun down there, and so I mean, it's okay. It's okay for mud turtle folks, and mud turtles are getting a much better appreciation in Central PA. They're going back up to Selinsgrove for the icebreaker. I'm looking forward to that. I've never seen modifieds up at Selinsgrove before.
You've never seen modifieds up at Selinsgrove.
The two times I was trying to get up there for them. The first time snowed out, and the second time is when ROC still had it, and and they only had like 12 cars because they were going up against New Egypt that day, and then they only had practice down there, and then everyone booked out the Port Royal for the nightcap.
There's been some good races. I mean, like I've only pretty much been there crew wise, with the small block stuff, but like that place is just so racy. No matter what division is there, you can put a frickin' roadrunner on the track, and it's going to be racy. But from my years of helping on a car at the icebreaker, we've never really had any luck other than when we went from like 8th to 1st in the Consi. And then I believe the next year we wrecked in hot laps, but hey, it is what it is.
Absolutely. So anyway, yeah, but it's looking so it's looking like a good season for Brett. I just can't wait to get the modifieds season rolling on here down the road here at some point.
Yeah, I like a lot of what Brett's doing. He started the series as just this little thing, a couple races here or there, and he's pretty much got a race every weekend now, depending on the north or the south. And you figure he added in that Louisiana deal, plus the Georgetown stuff, and plus the Fonda stuff, and he's a very busy man. I don't know how on God's green earth he gets everything done that he does, but hey, hats off to him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Real quick here, what's the drive from Fonda to Georgetown? It's insane.
A lot.
And Brett's doing that a couple of times a week. That's ridiculous.
It's
enough
gotta
that
be
I don't know how
upwards
Heather
of
doesn't
3
kill him.
hours.
Enough. That's what I think it is. Enough that I think that Heather doesn't kill him. I don't know how she doesn't do it, but hey, by the way, congrats to Heather on beating cancer this week. Very proud of you, girl. So congratulations on that. And she's able to go down to Florida with Brett. So very happy for that. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at a lot of great things coming up here. So all right, folks, we're gonna take our second commercial break here of the night. We'll be right back with more Highside Hustle. Stay tuned.
At 600cc Performance, our roots run deep in CC racing. A leader in fuel injection, dyno tuning, wiring, and diagnostics. With over 15 years of experience in building and tuning, you can count on us to get you to the winner's circle. Whether it is diagnostics, sales, or service, 600cc Performance is your source for everything CC racing. Find out more at 600ccperformance.com.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Highside Hustle. Bert, Wojcik, Adam, Rubright with you here tonight. And we are going to get Jason McDougall on the phone here. We're going to have Chris Graham, our producer, do the interview with all some of the issues we'll have. We'll try and get them straightened out next week. Hopefully, we're back at the Westy next week for we'll get everything figured out there. But Adam, let's talk about it. Jason McDougall, the run of the night, it was phenomenal to watch. He probably would have got in at least, I think, the B throughout if he would have had that running with Ryan Bernal.
I think he probably would have got to the A, honestly. When you start out the day racing that early and you run through the soup like that, there's an old saying in sports, whoever has the momentum probably has a good shot at winning. Mm-hmm. I think with the amount of momentum and the amount of steam that he had coming behind him from the H main, like just think about that. He passed 56 cars total to get from the I to the back of the D, so that's damn impressive. If he would have got into the C there, I think he would have been able to push his way up to the B, maybe the A. It all depends on how much his momentum would have taken him and how much time in between races there he had to, maybe I don't like the way this right rear feels, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. Obviously he had a very, very, very fast car, but a lot of that goes with throughout the day. He didn't have much time to change much of anything. So if he would have had a little bit of time to think about it, like, well, maybe, we need to add something here, add something there, change a tire, maybe that would have messed up the whole run.
And actually, gentlemen, I have Mr. Jason McDougall on the line here. It's a pleasure to be joined by the guy who's run the soup. And this one's a ton of fun for sure. Mr. Jason McDougall, thank you for joining us on the Highside Hustle.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we got to see you run the soup, and one of the things the guys were just talking about, our regular hosts, we're in the middle of a technical issue here where for whatever reason the phone calls are not going through to the broadcast. So or basically they can't hear you. Anyway, they were just talking about the fact that you had no time to think even during the course of running that train wreck of a soup run. How much time did you have, and what kind of changes could you make to a race car in who knows how much time, depending on how quick the other main ran opposite yours?
Yeah, so I kept track of like the time of when I got in, and I had like a 10-15 minute break before the D main, and running from the I up until the D, I had 3.5 hours of being strapped in the car. Like I never got out. I had some people bring me some waters and stuff, but other than that, me and my crew chief and car owner Bob East and Terry Klatt, we never really made any dramatic changes. We ran through probably 3 or 4 of the first features. They decided it was time to put some new tires on, but other than that, we never really made a swing at setup changes.
One of the interesting things that it kind of got me thinking during the big lull that we had between the last B and the A main was you had a ton of time there. Did it go through your head at all of what would we have done here? Because that's really would have been your only time to make wholesale changes to the race car, knowing how much work they were doing to the racetrack.
Yeah. You got a lot of time to think on it, and I'm not too sure that a lot of time hurts people in the long run of things. So, obviously, like we had a lot of track time. I know they reworked it before the C's, but they reworked it halfway through our features, and we still went last to second and made some track on people. But my guys just take it with a grain of salt, and they know what they're doing. But I don't think they would have over-adjusted me or dialed me out of the racing.
It was a phenomenal run, and you mentioned Bob East, your car owner. Did the Silver Crown deal get done at the Chili Bowl, or was that already in the works, or what was the deal on that? Because now you're going to get to run the dirt races in the Silver Crown car.
Yeah. Actually, when I first moved to Indy, I don't know exactly what the situation was, but Brady wasn't going to be able to make our race in time, so he had me as the fill-in for him, and he ended up showing up. So my first Silver Crown race went down the drain right then. But, me and Bob have we have a really good chemistry together. And he called me a couple days ago and just asked me if I would be in for doing everything with him. And I told him, of course. And I mean, I can't say no to the guy. He's a legend.
That's one of those names that you kind of don't shy away from. And it kind of leads me down the thought process of what if another big name called? You're known as a dirt guy, but do you have any interest in getting into the pavement side, whether that's Silver Crown, an Indy Lights car like we've seen Justin Grant do, or even an Indy car?
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily say my goal in life is to race pavement, but my goal in life is just race or be around the racing community and to give back what I've been given. But no, Bobby used to talk to me, and he's always asked me if I'd be interested in running in pavement, whether it's we go break out the pavement midget or his pavement sprint car and go test somewhere. But obviously, you can't run with me with Kyle Hamilton being a driver. But he's worked on something, and I might run a few crown races on pavement this year.
Something tells me it may be surrounding those Superstar Racing Experience events out there at Indianapolis Raceway Park, or whatever they're calling it now. It's been a really interesting year for you, because it almost seemed like you were not trying to get out of the car, but it almost seemed like you were just going to be last man out in terms of rides that were available. What does your prospects look for the 2021 season beyond the Silver Crown car?
Other than the Silver Crown car, I'm going to race probably 5 to 10 times the midget side with Bob. And I mean, if he wants to go race, I'll go race. And the same goes for me. If I want to go race, he wants to go race. But only thing we want to do is go win. So we're both as equally as competitive as we both need to be. And on the sprint car side of things, I'm going to continue working with KT, and he's done a lot for me, and I highly enjoy working with him.
You were one of the guys that we look forward to seeing out here on Midget Week and Eastern Storm and all that kind of fun stuff as well. Are you going to get out here to the East Coast this season?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'd like to run the Midget Week. That's probably the most fun in midget racing you can have. The tracks are about perfect that we go to out there.
It was funny. We were hearing Clinton Boyles during the shootout. They were commenting on, how the Pennsylvania and New Jersey tracks don't run the big curb like you guys do in Indiana. And Clinton Boyles just goes, Blanco. Is there a track that sticks out to you out here that you go, man, that's just like bucket list. This place is a blast to run?
My favorite one, I mean, Action Track was cool. I like Path Valley a lot. Linda's was cool, but Blanco is the best one I've been to.
Yeah, we get to broadcast every week from there, and they run the micro stuff. But, man, when you midget guys show up, you put on an entirely different kind of show out there. So it's a pleasure to have you on here. Normally we finish with who do you got to thank and who's the sponsors, but who do you need to thank at this point looking ahead to the season?
Yeah, I just got to give. I mean, KT's taken me in from day one. He's the guy that got me moved to Indiana after my whole deal in North Carolina. He's the one that talked me into coming back. And Bob East has given the world to me. So it's hard to take in sometimes. But Bob, and whether it's Bob racing with Bob or racing with KT, they're both family to me.
All right, brother. Well, last question we got for you here. We know Miss Motorsports 2020 and 2021, Andrea Capps, a J-Mac fan, but you got a bit of a shot in here for your Pennsylvania fans at the end of the Tulsa shootout. What do you want to say to those fine folks out here as well?
Oh, boy. Me and Carver I guess we saw differently on a couple things, but I actually ran into him at a bar during Chili Bowl, and I'm not mad at him. He's not mad at me. We drank a couple beers, and the way it went. I mean, I have no hard feelings. He has no hard feelings. I think it's badass that he did what he did, but I don't have a problem with anyone out there. I like coming out there. I like racing out there. I think the race fans are probably second to none in the nation, so I respect it.
Well, hey, that's something I'm sure the fans will be glad to hear here listening to the show. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate the time, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. That's Jason McDougal. Let's bring the boys back in here. What do you think here, gentlemen? We had an interesting conversation there with J-Mac, to say the least. I'm surprised that it didn't come to blows with Mr. Carber when they ran into each other.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing, Chris, when we had with Bernal and J-Mac last week at the Chili Bowl. I mean, some people may call it karma other than that, but, you know, I was really impressed with him when he went out, won the USAC Eastern Storm race down at Bridgeport, when I believe that was the first year they had it on the 3/8 down there, and he did a hell of a job getting around that place, and you know, he looked really good. J-Mac has a lot of talent. The talent's there, and you know, it's really good to see him have this opportunity and what he did this last week at the Chili Bowl, and now he's got the Silver Crown ride coming up here. It's looking like a really, really solid year, and hopefully he can land it back into either another weightless sprint or else maybe a full-time ride with the USAC and NOS Energy Drink Midgets here, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see him back in a car. I've been a fan of McDougal's for, God, quite a while now. I mean, I remember when I went out to Outdoor there a couple of years ago, if there was one T-shirt I bought at Four Crown Nationals, it was going to be his. And he didn't have anything that had like a car on it. It was simply just said JM and then underneath it Jason McDougal, and that's all it was. But I was like through the roof to get one of them, because he is. I think he's one of the cooler personalities in racing, and I wish he would get back into 410 wingless, because he puts on one heck of a show, like we saw down there at Bridgeport. But you know, he's been with KTJ for quite a while now, helping him with the car, and you know, sometimes crewing isn't a bad thing. You know, you build them relationships with people, and it's nice to. In his side of things, you know, it's probably refreshing to him to just work on one and like soak up the fountain of knowledge that is Kevin Thomas Jr.
Yeah, and I mean there's so much knowledge to be gained from KTJ. I mean, he's one of the best in the country right now. I mean, in the last couple of years, he's been right in the battle for the USAC Amsoil National Sprint Car title. It's come down to the last few races for him, but you know, that experience helps you. You said crewing. It helps. I mean, you need to learn that car inside and out, what that car needs. And, you know, yeah, being in the seat helps, but yet if you don't know how to describe it to your crew or what part of the car needs it, then what's the point of it? So it helps the crew. That way you know that car inside and out.
Exactly. And you figure Kevin can come in and bounce ideas off of J-Mac, because Jason knows what he's doing. He's been there. He's done it. You know, he knows what it feels like in the car. And I'm sure that helps Kevin tremendously throughout the year of just having someone that he can truly rely on setup-wise.
Absolutely. So, all right, folks, so that'll wrap it up for our interviews here tonight. Let's take a look at what we got coming up this weekend here. And, boy, there's a lot of good stuff coming up this weekend here. Not only are we having Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series kickoff tomorrow night from down at Alltech Speedway. Tonight, Wild Wing Shootout out in Arizona Speedway. After they just had a hell of a week with the Wild West Shootout, which Johnson Davenport, boy, is Superman back or what, Adam? Because what a weekend he had. 3 out of 6 wins. The only other one that came close from was Turbo Tyler Erb with 2, and Ricky Thornton Jr. got a win. But still, that was a $25,000 bonus there for Mr. Davenport there, and he matches win total already from this year just in the first 6 races of this season.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to beat all year. I think instead of the last year, it was the year of Owens. I think this year it might be the year of Davenport. It's
absolutely.
He's looked that good right out of the box, and I think he's going to have a really strong year.
Absolutely. Also, Kyle Bronson picked up the win. Also, Kyle
Highside Strickler
went up there.
Yep.
Yes. Good.
Yes, the
good
best
first
name
career
in motorsports.
First career
Highside.
World of Outlaws win. That was really, really nice to see. And he held off one of the best in the business with Bloomquist.
Yeah, how about that? We were talking about that last week about Bloomquist. Was he going to be able to rebound? And so far, and Chris, I'll bring you in on this one here. Bloomquist has been able to kind of find his mojo. Maybe the hip is starting to feel better, and he's starting to get a better feel for the car.
There was talk. This year's the 20th anniversary of the passing of Dale Earnhardt. He was in pain. He had broken his neck in 1997, I guess. And he never got it fixed until 1999. And he went into the 2001 season saying, I have never felt better. There's something to be said for when you don't hurt no more. The results are going to come. It's going to be really fun to watch Scott Bloomquist this season.
It really is. I think last year, a big part of just how he was throughout the years, how much pain was he in? I mean, late models aren't exactly the easiest cars on the face of the earth to get in, plus all the G-forces when that thing's trying to rip you out of the goddamn thing. I'm sure that didn't help, plus you have the pressure from the 5-point harness on there. So who's to say? Is Black Sunshine back? Is he feeling good? Does he got that mojo back because his hip doesn't hurt anymore? I guess we're about to find out.
Well, we'll find out. If he's running Alltech this weekend, we'll find out. If not, we got to wait about another 3 weeks here till the World of Outlaws take back off Evolution.
Speaking of Alltech, how neat is it to see Stuart Friesen going to hop in a late model?
Yeah, how about that? That was one of the last things I would expect him to see. But then again, he's covered all disciplines. And he's dominated big block modifieds. He does have a World of Outlaws non-standard drink sprint car series win up in Canada, and he's going to go out there and give it hell in a super late model down at Alltech this weekend. So really excited to see that. But he's got one guy to contend with there, Chris, and that's going to be one Kyle Larson.
Well, yeah, anytime Kyle Larson gets in a race car, the odds change. The bookies out in Vegas, or the bookmakers, I should say.
And especially in that Rumsey number 6, because that Rumsey number 6 is a rocket ship. I mean, T-Mac, he did very well in that car there until he went back over to the 39 team. But still, that number 6 car, that is no slouch of equipment behind that.
Yeah, Larson's he's in different territory here. I'm really interested to see what Friesen's able to do, because at least to my knowledge, there is no different driving of a race car than a big block versus a super late model. With that being said, though, Ryan Watt and some of these guys around here have started the transition to the suspension geometry being similar to that of a late model. So it's going to be really cool to see. Yep. Something tells me this is nothing more than a test of what's coming for big block season.
I'm going to agree with you there. I mean, last year we finally switched over to the left side panhard stuff with our modified, and it's funky when you first put it together. You're trying to figure out how the hell does this thing work, but it's. Speaking of Ryan Watt, I know he helped us with a couple of things last year when we were blowing drive shafts every goddamn week. He actually mentioned to us that we needed to shave a little bit off of the yoke so that everything would clear right. And so hats off to him and thank you. But yeah, the things that they're doing with the modifieds these days, and it kind of looks like a late model in the rear end, how that left rear sneaker kind of just sneaks up behind that body panel.
Yeah.
I will say this. I hope to everything holy that big block modifieds don't end up looking like late models.
No.
Those cars are goofy ass things when they're not moving. And then you start them moving and you go, what the hell am I looking at? The tires are pointed one way. The front end's pointed 180 degrees the other way. There is nothing sillier on earth than a dirt late model.
Yeah,
well, they already look like that, Chris. I mean, look at the IMCA modifieds. If you put a front clip on that thing, you got a late model right
Stop
there.
Stop it. That is not a modified.
Let's start dropping hammers now, boys.
If that's the comparison you want to make, that's what you got already. An IMCA modified, you put a front clip on it, you put a spoiler on the back of it, you got a dirt late model. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they might why don't they just call them Midwest modifieds, like mod lights or something?
How about we start the discussion of everybody should be running an IMCA modified?
How about no?
No.
Everybody.
I like my Northeast big blocks. I like the difference, and I like the discussion of having what's a real modified, which we all know that is a Northeast big block modified. But let's transition over here now, folks. Is to the Wild Wing shootout coming up here this weekend here, which the lone posse representative as far as right now, I believe, Lance Luis, he went out there with the 69K team. Really interested to see what they're going to do out there, and kind of shocked everyone when they say, hey, we're going to go out run out west in Arizona. All right, boys, go have at it.
I think a lot of it has to do with, the transition to an updated hauler and trailer. Yes, their rig has been one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic race trailer on the face of the goddamn earth. But it comes to a point in time when if you want to start traveling like that, like you got to update a little bit. You can't be driving something from 1970 across the country and expect it to make it all the way. So, I think it's going to help Lance and that team tremendously just because they're going to be able to quote, get off the porch some more. I think it's going to help a little bit and give them a little bit more flexibility. Maybe we'll get them back to Knoxville. Maybe we'll see them at the King's Royal this year. We know they like to chase the money instead of staying local. But then again, when we live in the state of Pennsylvania and we have so many good racetracks and our racetracks do pay more than most, why leave?
That's a lot of it is they pay more than most. And even in Central PA, you look at the difference between from Central PA to Eastern PA, Western PA. The difference is astounding between the payouts. I mean, I've talked about this many times that, everyone needs to step up their game here and try and match what Central PA is doing because the money's there, but these places got to put it back into the tracks here. Now, Western PA, like Lernerville, they're starting to set their game up here. Had a big announcement this week, too, Western PA Speed Week. So now y'all can stop your bitching about not having a Western PA Speed Week or a PA Speed Week come out to Western PA. I mean, they're still going to bitch.
Do we really need to get into the PA Speed Week
when Speed Week comes around, we will have this conversation. When we get to Speed Week,
okay.
Why do you run in Maryland?
Because Hagerstown is awesome. That's simply why.
Hagerstown is awesome.
And it's 5 minutes across the border. It's 5 minutes across the border.
Yes.
It's same thing like
still in Maryland.
Sharon on that.
There
is still in the state of Maryland. And
there is other tracks
how many times do we have to go to Port
list.
Royal and Williams Grove? Come
yes,
on.
Now,
thank you.
So I'll say this.
Why do we need double shows?
Okay, so Williams Grove's the only track that deserves a double show because that's where you race on a Friday night with the 410s. Simple as that. I think that's a fair estimate here. Is that that's the only that's where you race on Friday nights with 410s. But what I'm saying is that you don't need Port twice. You don't need Lincoln twice. We said this how many times? You don't need it.
We don't need any track twice. There is enough tracks in central Pennsylvania to go around.
Agree.
Like I would love to see Big Diamond get a date. I would love to see Pathways get a date.
Let's
I would
not
love to
forget
see Trailways
they're going to run
410s.
410s at Action Track.
Yes,
yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Like,
have you seen the updates lately? I mean, the updates they're coming along nicely. That fence is that's what they need. If they do that on the front stretch too, we got a ball game here, folks. We might have something. I like take a ride down here next couple weeks and go down and see it. But if they keep working on that fence, keep doing what they're doing, we got a ball game here, folks.
Doug Rose, if you're watching, or somebody who knows Doug Rose is watching, how about we do a show from Kutztown? Let's get Doug on the show. Let's take the show on the road out to Kutztown.
The night of the 410 race, I think I'd love to do that. But I mean, let's. That's June and July. We're looking down there. By the way, hats off to Path Valley. They're getting the 410s back. Only downside that is same night as USAC at Bloomsburg. Oh, I hate that so much. I want to go to Path Valley. I love 410s at Path Valley, but you can't pass up the USAC at Bloomsburg.
Speaking of Bloomsburg, did they happen to make that announcement about their announcement that they have a big sprint car related thing going on?
I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Did they make that yet? Because I mean, to me, I think that's going to be that open Sunday date on our Speed Week. I think they're going to end up at Path or at Bloomsburg. Yeah, but like back to the whole Speed Week thing. Like, why can't every track just get a freaking date? Like, come on. Buddy. Come on.
I know. Because not everybody gets trophy.
Like, I
can argue both sides of this coin. No, PA Speed Week should go to Pennsylvania racetracks. And I like Hagerstown. Don't get me wrong. But
like, I'll even
PA
let them
Speed
keep
Week
Hagerstown.
should be in PA. With that being said, we have plenty enough racetracks that you don't have to double up. How do you not go to Lernerville during PA Speed Week?
Well, I think the big bitch
I'll
there is
argue
because
that one.
nobody feels like driving 4 hours across the state.
That's the thing, and a lot of these guys here, if you put that on, on a midweek show, and some of these guys work the morning of before the races, and you got to drive that and then work the next day.
So
put Lernerville on a weekend. It's inexcusable to not touch the western part of the state during PA Speed Week. It's inexcusable to not touch the eastern part of the state during PA Speed Week. Get off the porch.
Yeah, so I mean, all right. So better yet, the whole bitch there is nobody wants to drive to Lernerville. I mean, I enjoyed the drive to Lernerville. I didn't think it was that bad.
I did too.
But put Lernerville on Sunday, Speed Week finale.
Mm-hmm.
Move the Sealands Grove date from Sunday to Saturday. Okay, so then you start Williams Grove, go to Lincoln, special occasion path or Port Royal Sunday. If you feel like you need a break, take Monday or Sunday off. Go to.
No, you need a Sunday show. I think you take Monday off. If you take any day off, I think you take Monday off.
Well, yeah, either way with those 2 days, and then you have your typical Tuesday at Grandview. Run Big Diamond Wednesday. What's it going to hurt? Take a trip out to Bedford. There's enough tracks to go around to be able, so everybody gets a date, everybody profits, everybody makes money. I agree. There shouldn't be Lincoln getting 2 days, and because what's the point? What is the goddamn point of having 2 dates? I get it. Everybody wants to make their own money, but there's those tracks that don't get to see sprint cars all that often, and they're still gonna make their money. Like Port Royal isn't going to lose out on money if they don't have a second Speed Week date. Lincoln is not going to lose out on money if they don't have a second Speed Week date. Neither is Williams Grove.
No, and it's some of the logistics too. Like, I don't agree with, say, on how on that Sunday we went from Lincoln to Sealands Grove, or else from Lincoln to Path Valley and then back to Lincoln on Monday. That's a hell of a trip, but it's there's just a lot of logistics things, and Grandview to Hagerstown. I mean, that's rough there in itself, because you're going from the farthest track east to now the farthest track south, and then on Friday you got to or Thursday night, then you got to go back to either Port Royal or whatever. Then you're going to the farthest track up north. So what I think it should go, as I said, you start Friday night at the Grove, and I'm going to piss you guys off here because, like I said, I believe the Grove should be the only track at 2 days, because that's where you race on Friday nights for 410 sprint cars. So that's my opinion on that. Saturday, the first Saturday, you flip it each year. Odd years, you go to Lincoln. Even years, you go to Port Royal on the first Saturday. Sunday, you go to Bloomsburg. Monday, Big Diamond. Tuesday, Lincoln. Or, sorry, not Lincoln, Grandview. Wednesday, that should probably be either Sealands Grove or trying to think here. Probably Sealands Grove on Wednesday. I think that's better from Big Diamond to Sealands Grove. Thursday, I think Hagerstown. I'm keeping Hagerstown on because the racing has always been very good down at Hagerstown. It's one of their better shows that they put on down there. The place is packed. It kind of helps save the track every year for the amount of fans that they've been getting down there the last couple of years. And the racing has been second to none. And a lot of the bigger names, that's their last race that they can go to. And they love running Hagerstown. So I'm going to keep Hagerstown on that one.
I don't mind Hagerstown. I don't mind the Hagerstown on there. It's been a staple on Speed Week for fucking forever. So just leave it there. Yeah. Just leave it there. I don't care. Even if you just add another date on there, Speed Week, 7 days, but you take a day off, so you're still only racing 6 days. Make it an 8-day Speed Week. You still get your day off, and all of the tracks in the area get to run a race.
I really like how we started this conversation on Arizona, and now we're back in Pennsylvania Speed Week.
Exactly. But anyway, back to Arizona.
Boys.
As of the cars that I've seen so far, World of Outlaws, All Stars, so on and so forth, who is your favorite car that is signed into the pits so far? And if you don't say Donny Schatz, and I am not a Donny Schatz fan by any amount, but if you don't think Donny Schatz has one of the most beautiful race cars this year, in that silver with the blue and the red, I'm gonna drive the Tremont and smack you upside the head.
Can we discuss this for just a moment?
Okay.
Last year was the year of the white sprint car. When did this year become monochromatic gray with orange?
As a photographer, I don't care. I love it because it's two of my favorite colors.
Until they start adding the reflective stuff to it. And then it blows up every picture you take.
Like C-Bell's car, I'm not a fan of the
now
reflective.
That pisses me off. Yes. Now, if you get somebody like Danny's car with that red on it there, like when he had the blue and the candy apple red a few years ago, that thing took beautiful pictures, especially when the sun glistened off it. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. Yes. But now, you know, C-Bell's car, that thing pisses me off. Beautiful car in the daylight, terrible car to shoot at night. But you do get some, if you get it right, you do get some pretty badass shots out of it. Anyway, Donnie's is right up there with one of my favorite cars. I think Brock's and Gravel's, they're very similar, Brock and Gravel's. But I love those cars. I think it's great to see Brock in the back in black.
Yeah, I like Brock's car. Brock's car is absolutely gorgeous. But for whatever reason, I cannot stand Gravel's car. I am not a fan of that.
Even though
I am not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. It's not exactly the same, so to speak, but in the same aspect, it's a billboard for Houston Speedway. Like, is there any other sponsors that... I know. I get that. But did anybody else helps you get to the racetrack? Or are you just going to put them this big on the frickin' the panel behind the driver? Like, come on.
Again, it depends how much money did they put up and how much money is Todd Green putting up at Houston Speedway. And by the way, that announcement with them running a $20,000 to win USAC Amsoil National Sprint Car and midget races out there, I am looking forward to that. That's going to be badass. The racing at Houston's is going to be badass this year. They got announced that they're going to be on Dirt Vision this year too. So Houston's is back, baby, and good for them. Good for Todd. I'm very happy to see Todd and everyone out there get the Houston Speedway back up and running. Definitely.
I agree with you there. I hate seeing racetracks go away with the wind, so to speak, but I'm really glad to see that track's back, and they're going to do great things there this year, I feel. But for whatever reason, you know, I don't think Houston Speedway has to be plastered everywhere on that car. Like, put it on the top wing and let the rest of your sponsors go where they should be, on the hood or on the front nose wing. You know, like, we get it. It's the car's owned by basically Houston Speedway, but still, like, come on.
Well, Pig, when you get the money, you can put up there more money than what Houston's, and then you can take over their spot.
No, when I hit the Mega Millions tonight or the Powerball, whichever one didn't get hit yet, I'm buying 2 big block modifieds and I'm going racing.
Okay, simple as that. Fair enough. So anyway, Wild West Shootout coming up this weekend here. Looking forward to that out of Arizona. I believe this is the first time in a long time the 410's been out there. We got the Roar Before the 24 this weekend. Chris, I know that's your bread and butter with the IMSA series. That'll be fun to watch coming up here this Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. They're actually going to set the starting lineup for the Rolex 24 with a 100-minute or 100-lap. I think it's a 100-minute race. Basically, a little sprint race to set the grid for a 24-hour race coming up the following weekend. If you're not a fan of asphalt road racing, watch the Rolex 24. It's a 24-hour sprint car race. There's no lift.
Oh, it's a good time.
No, those guys, it's a 24-hour sprint. They beat the hell out of those race cars. Yeah. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, and where else can you see a Cadillac getting the absolute shit beat out of it?
Only at Daytona, boys. Only at Daytona, boys. So, and then wrapping up this week's schedule here, we got the 45th Annual Winter Nationals down at East Bay. Oh, my God, I'm looking forward to that. Oh, God, it's one of my favorite weeks of the year. And then you lead.
Yep.
Oh, it's just the racing at East Bay. So good.
It changes with the time. Don't forget about the don't forget about the Winter Nationals there at Alltech with the Lucas Oil late models. They're there on Saturday the 23rd. So that'll be cool.
Through the week here. We spent about 45 minutes on late models. So thanks for joining the show, Pig. Appreciate it. That's what
anytime. Glad to be here. What?
And then,
that was how long ago, because we got on a rant about fucking sprint cars in Arizona and Pennsylvania Speed Week, so forgive me.
Yeah. You're forgiven, sir. You're forgiven. Anyways, Winter Nationals down at East Bay will go from Sunday until next Saturday, and then starting next Wednesday night is I believe that'll be practice night for the Short Track Super Series Florida swing down at Bubba Raceway Park. Looking forward to seeing him down at Bubba. And racing season's here. And then next Thursday night when we're on the air here, we're going to try and knock a show out real quick, or maybe do a watch along, because the All These Bargain All-Star Circuit Champions event by Mobile One, they start up at Screven next Thursday night. Cannot wait for that. Finally, some All-Stars here.
How about this one, boys? Since we got the scoreboard up here, we've sort of repurposed it. But what do you think? Okay. $1 for every drink, $1 for every cuss, and we'll give it to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, UPMC Children's Hospital, something out there in Pittsburgh, and Hershey Children's out there in the central part of the state. We'll split the money up. What do you think?
I like it. Do like a monthly count, or what do you want to do with that?
Yeah, we'll do it every month, and I'll cut the check.
Okay, perfect. That works for me, boys. If that works, I love it. Always helping everything out. So, all right. Anyone else got anything for the greater good here? Or are we gonna wrap this puppy up for the night?
Did we happen to tell people to send us our picks at the beginning of the show, or should we have them send them to us throughout the week, and we'll get to them next week?
Yeah, people can send us, tweet us your picks. Tweet at Highside_hustle. Get me on camera here. Good Lord.
There you go.
Tweet at Highside_hustle. We'll be able to put your picks up over the course of the week, and we'll feature some of the best next week. Don't forget, like us on Patreon, patreon.com/National Racing Network. We'll bring you guys into a Discord so you can see all the behind-the-scenes stuff, and you can interact with us during the show. So you can feed them bad information and see what they spit out, just like Anchorman.
Oh, they already do. I mean, look at the comments and text messages you get, they already do.
Yeah. I mean, half of what I say is probably nonsense, but hey, nobody needs to know that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So, anyway, all right. Adam, any final words?
No, not that I can think of, other than let's get some racing going. Other than the little bit that we've been.
Hey, it's racing season, boys, and we cannot wait to join us here every week here on the Highside Hustle and bring you the very best that we possibly can here. So, all right, folks, well, thank you for joining us here tonight. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Once again, thanks to Brett Deyo and Jason McDougall for joining us here tonight. We apologize to them for technical difficulties. We'll try and do better next week. Coming next week, we'll be previewing the All These Bargain All-Star Circuit Championship by Mobile One down in Screven, and also going into Florida Speed Weeks down in Volusia, and whatever else news breaks. So this has been a very, very busy news, which we didn't even.
We didn't even talk about Rico relieving himself of his own duties.
Two things.
There's so much to talk about. We didn't talk about that. There's two more things we got to talk about yet.
Yeah. First off, I know where you're probably going to go with this. Chris, you're going to be pissed off if I don't mention the Rico Jack Hodgshield deal. But how about Tim Schaefer to the 72?
That's my first. You read my mind there, Adam. Timmy Schaefer going into the Hefner Racing number 72. I did not expect
and
that.
They got some racing planned between Florida, and they want to try and do Knoxville and Eldora, and they got some serious amount of racing planned. I think if they start meshing early on in Florida, I think that could be a very, very potent combination.
Just imagine if Speed Week went to Lernerville.
He'd probably win that race.
Schaefer's been pretty good out here, though. He does have a couple wins and has ran very well in that 49 Rudzik car out here. So Schaefer knows how to get around these tracks out this way. But
he sure does.
I digress. I digress. But yeah, congrats to Timmy Schaefer. Definitely shocked me seeing him go in the 72 car, since nobody heard a damn thing about that. Everyone thought Pittman was going in, and then Hefner.
Yeah, we all thought Pittman was going to be on it in like a part-time deal, but I guess we were wrong. Second order of business before Chris rips our freaking heads off. So how about Rico firing himself from his own ride and then putting none other than Jack Hodgshield, who happens to be racing for his 48th and final year this year. It's been a career for Hod.
It's a beautiful thing because Hod now finally has something he can work with and win again in. I mean, the talent is still there, but he just finally has something that he can win in again. And Rico to give up that ride, they've been friends for years. I'm so happy. I said to multiple people asked me about it. It's a beautiful gesture, I think.
Jack
It really
Hodenshield
is.
has
It
more
is.
years racing than our two 12-year-old hosts have alive together.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Attaboy, Chris. But anyway,
Boy,
like
I feel
you're-
young again.
it's so hard to fund, and this is coming from a modified point of things, and I can imagine it translates right over to 410s. It's so hard to run a family-owned, operated car because you don't have not necessarily the exposure that these bigger teams do, and you don't have the money behind you that these bigger teams do, and it gets challenging. Like you're trying to pay your crew, you're trying to travel up and down the road. I know the last couple of years he's been dealing with some truck and trailer issues, and it takes a toll, especially if you're not up running in the top 5, top 10, to get the higher payout, because you figure once you get from 10th on back, the payout's what, $800-900 on a weekly basis if you're lucky, and then it goes down by $50 every time you lose a spot. So it's nice to see Jack get in a ride that he doesn't necessarily have to worry about the funding side of it, and he can just go race. Like he's not going to have to worry about, well, I mean, he's going to have to worry about it eventually, but he's not going to have to worry about, well, if I blow this motor up, or if I fuck up and I get upside down, and well, then I have to pay for a wing, and the whole 9 yards. It'll be nice to just see him get behind the wheel of a car, get in it, drive the wheels off of it, because he's going to, and see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I as I said before, Rico being able to give up his ride for Jack. I mean, it's only going to be 24, 25 races, so it's not too many. It's not too many races, but still, it is a good enough amount for Jack for what he wants to do, and still hits the track he wants. Like, I mean, we're probably going to see him at Knoxville. Probably see him come out here for a couple, maybe TV shows, or probably do Tuscarora 50 again, and maybe wrap it up with the Natty Open or somewhere down in Charlotte again. But still, it's awesome. And then Rico made his own news after firing himself and going over to Paul Silva's 57 when Kyle Larson's on in it.
But it's not Paul Silva's 57. Paul Silva is just going to turn Silva's just going to turn the wrenches on it, which I forget the exact owner of this car, but
that's the
I'm interested to see.
Right?
Yeah, something like that. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. Like, is Rico just in it for Arizona, or is he in that for the full season? If he's not racing a 57, is he going to get in his own car? Same with Hodenshield. Is if he's not in the 24, is he going to be in his own familiar 3? There's still a lot of questions to be
before the show, though. This could turn into an ugly orgy of sprint cars, and it's gonna be fantastic, because you could have nights where Hoddenshield's running the Abreu car, Abreu's running the Kozlowski car that's crew chief by Silva, while Kyle Larson is running the Silva car. That's gonna be wrenched by whomever, but probably chief by Silva. This is gonna be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be like the same principle there with Dietz, with gravel and PPM this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're going to see success. Enrico did not have the greatest year last year. I know he was fighting a lot, especially with the fires and that, but Rico did not have the greatest year last year. This year here, he goes out with that Kozlowski car, and he's got a great equipment underneath him, and he can really find out where he's at right now. And I think we're going to see Rico's win totals go up. I fully expect Jack to get one more win at least this year. One more win. I don't know where it's going to be at, but I expect him and Sheldon to probably have – I would love to see if him and Sheldon at one of the Ohio tracks, like say, I don't know, maybe Attica for the Doty Classic or Eldora, just have one more final battle out there. And just that would be just – oh, my God, it'd be amazing to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's going to come. Like you said, I don't know where. Obviously, it'd be really neat to see an Ohio track, but just to have Hod back in the win column, either Outlaws, All Stars, wherever you have it, it's going to be a special moment.
Can we also not forget that these are 3 potentially incredible rides for like the Knoxville Nationals
Yeah.
Jack Haudenschild's going to Knoxville with the car that could win that race.
Yeah, because
Game
Rico's
on,
had some
boys.
really
Let's
great
go.
cars there. Rico's had some really, really good cars there.
He has, but now Rico is going to be with the crew chief that should have won the Knoxville Nationals the last 2 years with Paul Silva. And now that gives Rico a hell of a chance. And I'm sure Silva's going to have some input on the 24.
I'll tell you what, it is going to be a hell of a week in Knoxville. I mean, I hope I remember 3/4 of it, but, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to get absolutely bombed at Dingus, but,
That's a given. So, all right. Well,
before we wrap up here, guys.
Yes.
Pitbull owns a NASCAR team now.
Yeah, how bizarre is that? He went in with Justin Marks, who used to own Kyle Larson Racing, so to speak. Well, partners with Kyle for that. That's really bizarre. I mean, good for him. I like the fact that they're getting new people involved in racing, because who would have ever thought on God's green earth that Pitbull, of all people, would be involved? The same with Michael Jordan. Like, whoever thought these people would be involved in motorsports? Like, it's such a cool thing to see.
We are seeing a changing of the guard in racing, and you gave me a chance to mention it, but there's more than just Pitbull and Michael Jordan buying NASCAR teams. There's an all-female team coming for the World Endurance Championship. There's an all-female team coming in IndyCar. We are seeing real change coming in the garage area, whether some of the old guys like it or not. And perhaps the dumbass of the week, Taylor Gray. Just one more thing for the old guys to feed on. The 15-year-old kid Snapchatting himself driving at Daytona.
How stupid was that?
That was pretty stupid.
I've seen T-Maz do it under yellow conditions in a sprint car or a midget, but I mean, when you're full speed on the backstretch of Daytona and you just decide to, I'm going to whip my my cell phone out and take a video of this, how stupid can you be? Even though it's an ARCA car, you're still going probably well over 100 miles an hour, and you're going to drive with one hand while
$150.
Yeah, exactly. That's idiotic to me. Under a caution lap, sure. Whatever. But full speed down the backstretch at Daytona, maybe I should have just kept your phone in your pocket there, Chief.
Yeah, I get that's what they make GoPros for, and that's what they make editing for. At the
But
end,
I don't think they're allowed to have any. I don't think they're allowed to have any personal in-car stuff in there. I think it's just all the the TV cameras and stuff
Nothing.
Okay.
That's why they don't allow GoPros even for the most part. They have to be cameras that you cannot operate remotely. That's most of what the rule book is. GoPros, you can't really hook to any electronics, but some of the other cameras, you can absolutely use them to tie into the car's electronic systems. So
yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
And if there's a way to cheat, somebody will find it.
Oh yeah, that's what racing's built on. Is that if you always find that advantage you can't that no one else does.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So, folks, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up here for tonight. So, once again, we apologize for all the issues we had here again tonight here. We thank Brett Deyo and Jason McDougal for coming on. Chris, excellent job on the interviews tonight, buddy, and hopefully we get that all straightened out.
We didn't have that many issues. We just couldn't hear our guests. We couldn't. So, I don't know. Maybe if we can figure out next week to get whoever our guests are on the video instead of the phone. Then again, if we're doing it from home next week again.
So long as there's no COVID, we're going to be at Westy's next week.
All right. Okay. That's what I like to hear. Those
I can use me. They really were. I encourage anyone that's listening to stop out at the Westy while we're there, grab some food, grab some drinks, because it's a really great place.
It is. That was my first time there. I absolutely loved it. So, all right, folks, I'll wrap it up for the Highside Hustle here this week here. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to give us a like on Facebook, National Racing Network. Don't forget also to follow us on Twitter at Highside_Hustle. Follow National Racing Network on YouTube as well. So for executive producer Chris Gann, that's Adam Rubright. My name is Bert Wojcik. Keep on hustling. We'll see you all next week on the Highside Hustle.
See y'all.